Hello, Algebra 1 students. Mr. Troy here. It is lovely to not see you, but be back teaching again. Um, Pretty weird out there, huh? Um, so, we are just going to do the best we can. I'm going to teach you as much math as I possibly can, and I hope you're going to learn as much as you possibly can. Um, so we're all just going to do our best. Some of you may find this learning style easier. Some of you may find this learning style harder. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how we're going to give you grades yet. So just hang in there and learn as much as you can. Your two biggest challenges are going to be to stay organized because you have so many different classes, and to stay motivated because there's not really much to do. So you have to force yourself to get up, do schoolwork, even though you're not even leaving your house. Everything is going to be in order on the Google Classroom, and it's also going to be on the e-learning doc that is posted to the Google Classroom. They asked everybody to set up Schoology, which is why I suddenly have a Schoology set up. If you don't access that, you should be fine. That's just there so everyone has a place that they can go. But for me, that's just going to direct you right back to your Google Classroom. If you have questions, please ask them. Email me. We will do a Google Hangouts meet every day at 12:30. Okay, so just after lunchtime, I guess. That's not mandatory, but it's the best way to ask questions because I can actually answer them. So, yeah. Instead of having regular homework, your homework is going to be through Khan Academy, but you only have to do the exercises. There are extra Khan Academy videos that are assigned. There are articles that are assigned. Those are just there to help. The reason I assign them is it makes them easier to find instead of me just making a list and saying, hey, find all this stuff. So all of the things that are exercises are going to be your homework grades during this time. Okay? You may watch the Khan Academy videos, but I don't want you to think that I've stopped teaching you and it's just Khan Academy from here on out. So I will be recording my own videos. You don't have to watch the Khan Academy videos, but obviously you're more than welcome. I'll try to have stuff up pretty quickly for those students who want to do math in a large chunk and then do English in a large chunk instead of doing a little bit each day. But they have asked us to make it less work. So if you're really motivated, you might have to work with me to find some extra stuff to do if you're bored. Okay, so we are going to go to a lesson. You're just going to follow along on your own sheet of paper. I will post the slides onto the Google Classroom like I always do if you want to print them out, but you really don't need to. And then you will practice through Khan Academy. All right. Here we go. Okay, so we are going to start by solving quadratic equations. The last thing we did before spring break, which was ages ago, was we graphed quadratic equations. So let's take a look at that and see how that ties in with solving quadratic equations. Now, if it's been a while and you don't remember, a quadratic equation is an equation that has the variable squared. Okay, so the second degree equation, or equation with x squared as its highest exponent. We won't be looking at equations like this today, but we will eventually. So even if it has an x in it, the squared is still what matters the most. All right, so I'm going to start by graphing the quadratic x squared as a way of solving the equation x squared equals 4. So remember, the quadratic x squared just follows the 1, 3, 5, 7 rule. So we graphed this one a while back. I just got like a new tablet for my computer. It's green. I like it a lot. So who knows if I'll be able to graph with it. I was never super great with graphing anyways on the smartboard, but that's we're gonna have to try again. Sorry, gang. I'll work to get better. That reminds me. So we will not have access to our regular graphing calculators because we're not in the classroom. I mean, I brought one home, but, you know, I was prepared. So if you need help with graphing, you're going to go straight to Desmos. All right, so here's x squared. And this is asking, where does x squared equal 4? So there are 2 places where x squared equals 4. Right here and right here. Okay, so one on either side, one on the left and one on the right. And we're looking for the x values because that's what's in the equation, x, not y. So that's where x equals either 2 or -2. Okay, what's the square root of 4, by the way? Okay, it's 2, right? Okay, so let's take a look at 2 more. If I graph x squared equals 9, I'm going to see something really similar. So here's me graphing x squared. And then what I'm asking is, hey, when is that going to equal 9? As in, when is that graph going to cross this line? That's the place where, you know, the graph is 9, where the y value is 9. So if I'm saying, hey, when is that graph going to equal 9? That is at x equals plus or minus 3. So positive 3, that's right here. And negative 3, that's right here. This plus or minus is going to be super important. Okay. If I do the same thing, and to spare you having to see me do this again, I'm just going to copy and paste. And I say, hey, where is that going to equal 8? It's not going to happen at a nice number. And the reason for that is because, well, 8 doesn't have a nice square root. Okay, so if I say, hey, where is that going to equal 8? It's not quite at 3. It's almost at 3, but not quite. Okay, so if I say, hey, where is that happening? Right now, you're just going to say x equals plus or minus the square root of 8. That's about 2.82 if you use a calculator. So what's really important here is that for either one of these problems, the graph hits once at a positive number and once at a negative number. Once at a positive number, once at a negative number. And the way that we note that is by using this plus or minus. Okay, let's move on. So if I am trying to solve this equation, x squared plus 9 equals 25, I am just going to subtract 9 from both sides. You can forget about the graph for a second here. And I'm going to get x squared equals 16. Now, the way I undo a squared is I take a square root. So what's the square root of 16? Well, the square root of 16 is 4. But you have to remember that that shows up on either side, once on the positive side, once on the negative side. So here, once on the right, once on the left. So we're going to say plus or minus 4. Okay, right here, whenever the variable appears just once in the equation, we can use this square root method. We cannot do that for this problem. So as of right now, this problem on the right gets 3 question marks. Don't know how to do that yet. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm a math teacher. Okay, moving on. So here's what you want to do. You want to combine any like terms on each side. So 5x squared plus 2x, those are not like terms. On the right side of the equation, we've got x squared plus 2x plus 9. We're going to move all the quadratic terms to one side, all the constants to the other. We also have to get rid of any plain x's. And combine like terms here. So if you can do this, where now the variable occurs only one time, that tells you you can use the square root method. Okay? Divide to get 1x squared. So divide by 4. Divide by 4. We're going to get x squared equals 9/4, or 2.25 if you want to do it that way. And then we're going to take the square root. So here's what I tell people about trying to remember this. Whenever you take the square root, your next step is going to have a plus or minus in it. Remember that plus or minus. It's crucial. Okay, the square root of 9/4 is 3/2. If you think about that for a second, the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2. If you're doing all this on Desmos or through a calculator, you're going to get plus or minus 1.5. Either one of those is okay. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video. Did you pause? And I want you to try this problem on the right. This problem right here. Ooh, that probably made you dizzy. Sorry. Okay. Try that problem right now. Okay. Did you pause? Did you? Okay, so hopefully you got here and then realized that you cannot use the square root method here. Okay, so this whole thing that we just learned, we can't use this because we couldn't get rid of the x's. Okay. Sorry to fake you out. I hope that didn't destroy the trust between us. Okay. So here are two problems you can try if you like, and then you can ask about them in the Google Meet if you have a question about it. But for now, we are going to look at, oh my goodness, just this problem. Okay, so 25x squared plus 5 equals 130. I'll tell you what to do, and then you'll try it. Okay. Get it so that the x squareds, all of the x squareds, are on one side of the equation, and all of the constant terms, or the just plain numbers, are on the other side of the equation. Okay, it looks like this. Okay. Next, divide through so you have 1x squared. So you're going to divide by 25, not by 125. Okay, so we're going to get x squared equals 5. Okay, next you're going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, whenever you draw in that square root like I just did right there, that's going to tell you, okay, I'm taking the square root of both sides. My next step is going to have a plus or minus on it. When you're taking the square root, ask yourself, does the square root of 5 have a nice number? Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, so no. So you can either leave your answer as the square root of 5, or you can leave it as its decimal, which in case is about 2.236. If you notice the video pause there, that's because I had to ask Alexa what the square root of that was, because I didn't know it off the top of my head, and I didn't think to use my calculator. Okay, so you're going to try the Khan Academy exercise for the introduction for square roots. Okay, so when you go into Khan Academy, the exercise for today is quadratics by taking square roots intro. You can start looking at the other ones if you want. You can read the articles, you can watch the video, but if you're following along, this should be pretty simple. Okay. What I'll say about this is it'll give you hints. You can use a calculator. If you press on the little pen here, you can write along on this. So it says find the zeros of the function. All right, we haven't talked about this. I hope you're still watching the video. That means solve 0 equals negative 5x squared plus 180. Okay, so you want to get the x squared by itself. So you might say, okay, plus 5x squared to both sides. That way the x squared would be on one side and the 180 would be on the other. Okay, then you're going to divide by 5. And that's going to give you x squared equals, oops, 180 divided by 5, 36. Okay, so x squared equals 36. Get out of here, calculator. Remember, when you take the square root of both sides, your next step has a plus or minus in it. Okay. Oops, gotta move me. Sorry. Whoop. That's not what we wanted at all, is it? There we go. Okay, so your next step has to have a plus or minus in it. And in this case, the square root of 36 is 6. So when it's asking you, hey, what's the smaller x value? What's the larger x value? The smaller x value is negative 6, and the larger x value is positive 6. Heyo. Okay, so you're trying that, trying to keep that super short today. I know this video was long, but that's just because we were getting used to it. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know how I can help. See you at the Google Meet at 12:30 if you need that. All right, bye.